It's been a year since August 17th of 2024. We had a huge change in real estate. And I wanted to make this video and reflect on the change and kind of give my opinion, what I think about this change, about this exclusive buyer representation agreements or non-exclusive, and my pros and cons. There's one thing that I don't like about this, and there's many that I do like about the fact that now we need to sign buyer representation agreements before we start working with a buyer. I'll start with things that I like. First one is going to be that it sets the expectations. It creates level of professionalism between agent and client. I mean, professionalism is of course on the agent's shoulder to present and show the professionalism. Uh, by professionals, I mean that the agent now is supposed to kind of convey this information that they weren't used to, and it was very stressful. But now, since we all have to do it, then we all doing it now. It sets the tone for the level of expectations from the client and the agent. It creates professional relationships, and I really love the fact that it also talks about, look, if you're signing this, make sure if it's exclusive, make sure that if you buy something, remember about this one. This is the contract between you and me. And as every contract with whatever service provider you sign, you're going to be obligated for a fee if you actually perform and buy something. It also creates the conversation where agents understand this is the fee. I mean, the clients understand that this is what my agent's going to make, and agents aren't allowed to receive more than that. I like that. Initially I did not understand why is this supposed to be a thing, but now I do. I do understand now that if you're told that you're making X percent and now you're making X plus Y at the end of the day, then that Y could have been reduced from the price. Now, you know, I need to know this because that should be disclosed to me. And the fact that you're not allowed to receive more than that creates a transparency. The client, the buyer understands that I am paying 500,000, for example, for this house. I understand that my agent's commission is baked into this price. But my agent's commission is X percent and I know about it. But what if it's different? If the agent discloses and not allowed to receive more, I like that. There's a lot of things that I admire and respect about the buyer representation agreement. There's one thing that I don't like, and here it is. I don't like the fact that there are some agents that will sign a contract with a client and just be a lousy agent, just be a bad agent, and tells the buyer when they start looking for other options that we have a contract and I'm not going to cancel it. And if you buy something, I'm going to sue you. And that I don't like because I've seen that. For example, I made a decision that my company, we're not advertising that you can cancel our contracts anytime. We're not screaming about it, but that's what we do. If, for example, because the contract was between a client and a company and the brokerage, and that's what we do. If the client is not happy with our agent and the services that we provide, and they buy with somebody else, I made a decision that I'm not going to be suing the buyer. That is going to be my default rule that we are not going to be going after the buyer. There's something that the agent probably did, or the buyer and agent relationship didn't work out. There could be a situation where the agent did everything, and then the buyer just decides because the sister got the license, and now they want to kill the deal and just go with the sister and get that done there. But it's the agent that did all the work, and now they're just being kicked out, and it's a lot of money. So in that situation, we might be looking at it differently, but that's probably something rare. We really didn't have that many situations, but I've seen where our agents from our office has the deal on the contract, And now the client says, you know what? I actually had agreement with somebody else before, and now this person somehow found out, and now they're threatening me that they're gonna sue me. And that buyer cancels the deal and sits silent for another year because that the agreement was for 1 year. And that is something that I don't like about that's it's not cancelable. Um, I guess the agreements can be written whichever way, but it has to be mutually canceled because now it's binding contract signed by both parties. I guess it has to be canceled by both parties, and if one doesn't, then it has a power, this contract, and agents can sue their clients. What if the client just doesn't like the agent? What do you do at that point? So that is one thing I don't like about the agreements. Everything else I love. And I am pretty sure that at this point, everybody knows about this. It's nothing new. I was expecting the spring and summer market to show us the true um, influence of these agreements on the commission on the buy side. And what I saw is the same as it was before. Most of the times, seller pay commission. There's few deals where there's a squeeze when the buy agent is, they have to slice their piece. They have to give up a little bit to win. Um, but if it's a professional agent, they know how to handle it. They know how to position it and convey to client and the listing agent. And the other thing is that there's no pushback. There's not much pushback from the sellers or listing sides. Of course, it all depends on the terms and the net price. But so far, most of the residential deals, and this year we're gonna sell 750 houses, maybe a little more, and there are few that the buyers are covering the commission. Most, um, most commissions are paid by the seller. That's what we're seeing. Everything is negotiable, and every single buyer tries to throw it at the seller. And if the seller has five offers, all of them asking for the commission, let's see what terms and prices we see. Because I thought that the fall and winter of 2024 are going to be, there's going to be not much change, but the spring and summer is going to truly show whether the sellers are going to be covering the buyer agent commission anymore. And guess what? They still are. Now there's one more paperwork that we need to sign. It does create more professional relationships between the client and the buyer's agent, but some agents take advantage of this. And I hate it. I just don't like seeing that. And I hope that there's some sort of way where associations, MLSs can step in and hopefully get the client's ladder and be able to step in. I don't see it happening probably, but that would be my wish. Um, I hope you have no problems signing it because there's really no problems. Nobody really pushes back if you present it correctly. And if you want to know how to do it, I plugged in the video over here. You can watch it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.